So what made you propose to your wife on your first date?
Well, this is crazy. When I was 19 years old, I came to Canada just on a holiday. On the very last week of my 3-month holiday, I was invited to a party. And I went to this party, and I was just sitting on these stairs next to this other guy, and this girl walks past me, and she was wearing a green dress. And I looked at her, and I'm like, wow, she's beautiful. And I said to the guy beside me, I says, who's that girl? And he started telling me about her, and I'm looking at his face, and he's got this big, huge smile, and I'm thinking, okay, I better make a move because this guy, he really likes her. So I get up. I have no idea who she is, and I started following her, and she went into the basement of the house. So I don't know what made me do this, but I went downstairs into the basement, and I'm like, where is she? Because there's a whole bunch of people, and she's sitting way at the back. And I went over to my brother, and I says, do you know that girl right in the back of the room in the green dress? And he goes, I don't know her, but I know her dad. He goes, why? I said, because I'm going to marry her. I haven't even talked to her. I don't even know who she is. But something told me inside, that's your wife. And I said to him, by the way, is she married? That was my next question because I had no idea. And he sort of laughed it off thinking, yeah, right. But something told me, this is going to be your wife. And that night, I must have said like one word to her. All I got was her name. And that was it. I left that night. And the next day I remember waking up and I'm in love, man. My heart was like, I don't know, there was something going on. And I'm trying to figure out, how do I get a hold of that girl? So I put on, at that time we had records. So I put on a record, a romantic Paul Anka music was playing. And I'm sitting in the rocking chair. And man, all I was thinking about, I love this girl. I gotta find a way to somehow contact her. I didn't have a number, but something was happening to me inside. I'm like, I gotta marry her. And I've been an atheist all my 19 years of my life. And I thought, if there's a God, now it's time to ask. So I closed my eyes and I started praying, God, I know that I've never talked to you before. And I need a favor. If you really exist, can you please help me marry this girl? And if you do, I will believe in you forever. So I said this prayer and I'm still sitting there. And then all of a sudden, the phone rings. And I'm thinking, okay. So I pick up the phone. It wasn't that girl. It was another girl that was also with her on that date. On that day that sitting next to her. And she phones me and she goes, hi. And she told me her name and she goes, listen, I was thinking, you want to go out on a date? And I said, well, who's going? She goes, well, you and me, and we'll get, and she mentioned the girl's name, and she goes, we'll get her, and we'll get somebody else. And as soon as I heard her say that girl's name, I said, yeah, done, I'm in. I'll join you. And then I put the phone down. I'm thinking, oh my God, this is a miracle. And then literally within 30 seconds, the phone rings again. But this time, it's her, the girl in the green dress. And she phones and she says to me, she goes, did you get a phone call from my friend? I says, yeah. She goes, what did she say to you? Well, she said to me, she goes, would you like to go on a date with me and you? And then she mentioned your name and another guy. And she goes, well, what did you say? I says, well, I told her, yeah, because she mentioned you. And then she goes, well, I said yes because she mentioned you too. And I'm like, wow. I says, hey, how about we do this? I'm going to phone her back and I'm going to tell her I can't make it. And then you and me, why don't we go on a date? And she goes, okay. And I put the phone down and I couldn't believe it. I'm thinking, God works fast. How did he make this all happen? Well, the bottom line is the next day we went on a date. We went to Center Island in Toronto. We spent the entire day there. It was fantastic. And afterwards, I got on the bus with her, took her all the way to her parents' house, came all the way back, took me 2 hours to come back. I came home, ran up the stairs. I picked up the phone and I said, so did you like the date? She goes, yeah. I said, so you want to get married? And she said, yes. And I thought, this is incredible. And I said, okay, you know what? I'll take care of the rest. And I put the phone down and I knew I have to find somebody in my family that knows her family and make it look like it was an arranged marriage because that's where our culture comes from. But the crazy thing is, 8 months later, I had to leave the country and go back to England. But 8 months later, I came back and I married her. And we've been married now for